Alright, so what do I want to say about Assassin's Creed 2 that hasn't been said a million times over? Would be almost nothing. But I do want to say that since this is a game that I missed, I didn't get the chance to experience that at a young age, just like I said in my last video. I missed a lot of time. And with the time that I missed out on a lot of good things, and I can see why whenever you start to talk about Assassin's Creed 2 or the beginning of the Ezio trilogy, all the Assassin's Creed fad boys just start, just pissing, shitting, cumming themselves, and you're stuck wondering why. And I get it. I don't agree, but I get it. They took the systems that I complained about in the first game, almost all of them, and they fixed them. They fixed them in such a way that I can't complain. And I'd like to talk about that today in my What Did I Miss in My 20 Years of Ignorance for Assassin's Creed 2. So, with my opening statement, I'd like to just cover that right away, stating, goddamn did they improve all that parkour system. It doesn't feel so awkward to jump. It doesn't feel... Okay. It It doesn't feel awkward to jump. It doesn't feel like you're gonna miss the cliffs you're going for. There are a few times where you definitely miss, but unlike the first Assassin's Creed where you start jumping and then your momentum cuts and you just start falling straight down, this one you will follow the arc that you're supposed to travel when you jump, and it actually looks like you're supposed to land where you land, minus the few times you don't catch the cliff. Um, I like that it picks up exactly where the last game left off, so I didn't have to go back and 100% Assassin's Creed 1. I didn't. And it just picked up right where it was, where Desmond's just sitting there and his little exturbo box just beating it, and you're like, oh, all right, well, that's where the last game left off. Cool. And then, Lucy comes back in, and she's like, hey, Desmond, we gotta go. And you just kind of go with it, and you're like, all right, we're picking up where we left off. Maybe there's going to become, something of this. Desmond's sitting there bugging her, asking her questions the whole time, and you basically get out, and she's like, oh, by the way, they're going to catch us. So you have to fight your way out of the building, get shoved in a trunk, get toted off to some random ass warehouse somewhere before she tells you anything. And basically, it's just that she's an assassin, you're an assassin, assassin friends forever. And then she introduces you to the rest of your buddies, which is Sean Hastings and Rebecca. What's her last name? Crane? Rebecca Crane. And for the record, Rebecca Crane seems like she is a stable human being who could have a very long and happy life. Sean, on the other hand, looks like he just wakes up every morning choosing violence, and he's just the worst person in the game. Like, Warren Vidic seems like a good guy compared to him. He's just an asshole. Just blew my mind away. But anyways, they take a little power box from Abstergo, a memory databank, something or other, and they're like, hey, by the way, woe be upon thee, we're sending you back into the fucking Animus. And you're like, all right, who? And they're like, oh, we're gonna send you back to being your Italian lineage after Altair in Bella. There was also Ezio Auditore de Firenze, or Ezio Auditore of Florence, for the English speakers. And when you play in that mode, it's not so weird because another thing they addressed, you don't have to go talk to someone, go back to your base, go murder someone. They literally just give you $5, put on your tennis shoes and your bicycle helmet, and say, all right, kiddo, go have fun outside. And they let your ass loose on the game. And I love that. You get your startup sequence where you get to, learn the combat, learn how to dodge, learn how to loot stuff, which took me an embarrassingly long time because the buttons were coded again. It was green foot, red hand chopping, red hand swinging, yellow face. Those buttons aren't on my keyboard, unfortunately. So it took me a little bit to figure out the beginning of the game, but once I got going, it felt natural. It felt just like the last game. And your story starts off in 15th century Italy. I think it was 1476 was the start of your real anti-hero arc, I guess you can call it. It wasn't a villain arc, it wasn't a redemption arc. You start the game, you're a rough tussler, your family's well known. Then your dad uncovers a conspiracy theory. Then your dad, your brother, and your younger brother all get hung at the stake by the guy you trusted. And this starts like a 23-year long just revenge plot. Like some people say like, oh, someone waited a year or two to pull a mean prank back on someone. They were playing the long game. No. This man played the long game. You would go somewhere, kill someone, and would have some kind of information on who might be involved or what this person's name might be. It took him 23 years to kill what I think was like 16 or 17 targets, including one who was the fucking Pope. And I couldn't remember the name of half the people I had to kill in this game. And that's just how involved I was. I thought I was going to play this game in like 5 or 6 servings and be able to give back all this information at a different time. Nope. My ass got sucked in after an 8-hour gaming session one day, and then an 18-hour gaming session like the very next day. I played the whole game, like 2 sittings. It was good. It was fun. It was different. It took everything that was really, really good about Assassin's Creed 1 and just stuck it onto a new game. The graphics felt good. It wasn't plagued with that weird piss-colored filter that every game back in, the early PS3 era had. And it felt clean. You could go anywhere, do anything. The map unlocking section by section was a little reminiscent of one, but I can't really flaw it too hard because you spend so much time in a city and not having to travel back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, that it felt good. And you after your family is hung, Ezio gets all messed up, goes finds his dad's assassin's gear, goes to escort his family out of the city. You take your family out the city and you have to go over to Montegeroni to meet up with your uncle. And I cannot believe they did this. They did it's a me Mario joke. And you basically get to see the shit-tastical castle that has, like hidden armor in the basement, wall of maps that's invisible to the regular human eye, a pedestal for an apple that you don't get to find out until the end of the game. And like I was in such a state of awe that I really didn't know what to do when I got there. They make you go buy your weapons, armor, which I didn't even think would matter. And then they start explaining like, "Hey, you can upgrade this building and you can get paid for it." To which my dumb monkey ass decided to say, hot fucking damn, that's a great offer. I'll take the whole stock. Every chance I got, I'd run back to that building and I would completely start upgrading. I would dump every penny. There were 3 or 4 occasions in the game during the long play, you'll see if you go watch those, where I sold all my stuff to the point where I could no longer fast travel, which was only 100 florins. But yeah, you go to the Montegeroni, your uncle teaches you how to be an assassin, how to fight a little harder, be a better person. And that's kind of where your arc starts right after that little, like, maybe 2 hours of intro to game is you get sent back to Florence. You have to assassinate one dude, which leads to you assassinating like 6 more dudes in Florence. Then you leave Florence, then you end up in Venice. You meet up with Leonardo a couple times throughout there. You have to take him through the mountains. The game is all over the place, and I kind of like the chaotic feeling it gives off because you go to Florey, you go to the mountains, you end up doing like a bunch of crypt crawling and assassin's tombs throughout the game, which is just something I didn't expect personally, but it was fun. It was the most fun I have had in a game in a long time because it felt like a legitimate adventure game. And I know this is a bit nerdy for someone who kind of fucking ignored the series, but damn, I wish younger me was fucking smart enough to listen to my friends. Like, this man had a 23-year-long story written in about 22 hours of gameplay. That's pretty good. They had puzzles. They had collectibles that actually kind of mattered. They had the Assassin's Tombs if you wanted to get Altair's old armor, which was bitchin' and had some of the best stats in the game. And, like, all this shit. And then once you get in and out of the Animus, the bleeding effect finally starts kicking in that they talked about in the first game that you never really got to see. And Ezio starts experiencing, weird shit, past memories, etc., etc. By the end of the game, you're a full-blown assassin. Desmond goes in the machine, basically a dumb monkey man, and he comes out a very strong Giga Chad. He goes out, puts on his blade at the credits that I didn't think were actually going to be a playable scene, and I was in the bathroom when that shit started. Finished up my business right fucking quick because Lucy started yelling at me, and I was like, wait, I'm supposed to be playing this. Oh, fuck. I got out and I started playing those credits, and Desmond goes from being man who fights with fists with guys and batons to man who shanks everything in sight because too angry. And it's such a weird thing to see because, you see Desmond as this useless, scrawny, pasty ass dude who's just gimping about doing pretty much nothing. And then you get to the end of the game and he turns into the Manimal Supreme. Like, yeah, Vidic lives. So there's that. I guess we'll be seeing his ass again. But the time you spend as Ezio in the Animus makes Desmond such a strong person. I mean, he literally goes from the meme of level 1 thug to level 100 crime boss when he decides, you know what? I'm gonna go raid the Vatican and shank the Pope today. Like, I get that that was his ultimate goal and the dude just happened to be in the Pope's position at that time, but what the fuck? It's such a jarring ending to a game and I love it. It takes you by surprise. It puts you in a position that you didn't think you'd be in. And it's not funny, but it's funny. I am genuinely looking forward to seeing what Brotherhood is going to be like because historically speaking, that is the next game in my line of sight and stuff like that. And I'm really, 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 really hoping that it stays good because from what I hear, it's more Ezio, and I don't know if not diversifying is going to be good. I don't know if staying as Ezio is going to be better because people again the second you mention Assassin's Creed, all the fanboys come out of the woodwork and start jacking it to the sound of the Ezio trilogy. I'm here to see if they're completely right. So far, with my experience in the first one, they're kind of right. It seems good. It's better than the first one. I like what's going on. But I don't think I can get behind the whole fandom thing. I will make another reactions video the second I'm done with Brotherhood, and we will see how this all goes. Until then, I give this game like an 8.7 out of 10. It ain't bad. Could be better. They still didn't add a fucking crouch button.